New Year! I am so excited you joined me here. I am Dr. Josiah with fire. So, new things that are still being worked out. Show up with excellence. Starting with that theme, name of the show podcast. Interestingly, last year I didn't officially um, put out there. Come get these kids as the name of the podcast. But anyway, show up with excellence. We're going to start there. Let's start there. So I always like to show it like that. Anyway, so Happy New Year. And I've been excited probably for months now, celebrating New Year a couple of months ago. Anyway, we're going to move on. We are going to move on. I have a lot that I do want to say, but let's just start here. So again, show up with excellence. And I think right now, I'm calling the podcast this, I wasn't sure if I wanted you to vote on this or ask people to vote on this, but it is all about education. And so going forward, that's where we're going. And but it is helping those who are educators, educational leadership. So if you're an administrator, teacher, school board, school staff, parents, part of that too. You have to be. So that's where we're going. And empowering you and motivating you in a humorous way. So that's somewhat of the change, but you'll see a little bit more as we go on and move on further. I do want to say, though, as we continue this year, and again, I don't know how long it may be this month and shift again. It may shift again. According to all what I'm doing, that's part of the issue. So I do want to say this year, though, we were talking about, and we talked about it last year, but for those of you who this is your first time, first of all, welcome. And but talking about leadership and education, leadership and really leadership in all other areas, not a whole lot there. Most of it is education, talking about leadership and education, talking about and mentioning, real life or teacher concerns and issues, talking about classroom issues and concerns, and or classroom issues, that education, things that come in the news or issues that come up in the news, I'll say it that way. But technically it is about education and the speaking arena, learning, and talking about individuals in education and speaking arena. I do want to say, let me start here. Actually, this is not even planned, but it comes to mind as I talk about individuals in education and my love for education and where it really all started. And I know I did a podcast on this maybe years ago. Anyway, did I say years ago? A year ago, my word. 1 year has certainly seemed like years ago. What I wanted to say was years ago. What really put me on this educational track, as I said, again, maybe in one of my podcasts or a video I showed on my YouTube channel when I was 6 years old. And even, I guess we'll start with 6. And what I want to say to that is I always wanted to be a teacher. And every time my siblings and I would play imaginary games, would always say, let's play school. And guess who was the teacher? Me. And I would never let my siblings be the teacher. Or if they were the teacher, I'd say, well, I am too. So now we have 2 teachers. So anyway, I was the teacher. And but there was something about, even as I look back, I only had one great teacher, which was 6th grade. I mean, the others were great, but that was my first Black teacher when I was 6 years old. 6 years old when I was in 6th grade. I'm so excited, just mixing everything up. But it was something about teaching. I really don't know where it came from, except that it was something I enjoyed playing and doing, and then it turned into something I really want to do when I grow up. When I grow up, I'm grown. So I say going back because there's one more person I want to mention because I definitely know when I saw her story, that's what I would say that drove me to then definitely become a teacher. And that was Marva Collins, who has been gone, deceased for years. But when I first heard her story, teacher in Chicago, who was disgraced about everything going on. And decided to start our own school. That, just watching that movie inspired me. And I remember saying, I want to do that. That's funny because I think we're getting there. But I tell you, it's amazing. But what I enjoyed about that was her love and compassion and passion for teaching not only her own children, but all children, and making sure that all children were getting taught or having, I'll use fair education, but even in that movie, and it could have been dramatized more so for television than it really was, meaning I'm sure it did happen that way. But anyway, when I saw that movie, and just it just really I don't want to say blew me away, but it was fascinating to see this Black woman take the initiative and move forward. And so when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to be a teacher. So anyway, just saying that to say that's what this podcast is, where we're going in that direction. And I also want to say, because I have so many, I do have quite a few friends, and what I mean by that, stop there, sorry. I have some older friends. I've always been mature for my age and had older friends, and even now. But I do want to say to my friends who are 70 and 100 how much wisdom they instilled in me when my mother passed. Even before that, I've always had friends who were older than me and who I would sit and listen to. And I want to say I'm at that place of now. I don't want to say giving back. I've always done that. I just want to say I'm at that place at seeing what they were doing for me when I was much younger. That's a good way. And so I say that to say this. Many who are, and I say around 70 because a lot of them are about 70 and to about 100. Yeah, my friends are 100. I appreciate and thank you for watching over me. And one particular friend who has been there, who stepped in. She stepped in when my mother was sick to years after my mother passed. She's still there. She's still someone I look to encourage me, to listen to me. I keep telling people when, especially when your parents, if one of your parents passes or both mine passed. And when they did, I knew right away when my mom passed, I needed another mature woman, not just a woman, a mature, wise woman who could, I didn't want to say who would be my mom, but someone who can give me advice and direct me and move me in the direction I needed to go, or just, listen, and who can still scold me and say, nope, that's not right. Do that over, do this, do that, all of that. And it wasn't just one, which is interesting. I was not trying to replace my mom, but I needed someone who could be there. And I still have many of them who are there. So I have many spiritual mothers and friends who act as spiritual mothers too. And I say act because they're not in that, someone about my age now, but so don't want to call them that. Although I guess they're mothers too. Anyway, let me move on. I probably messed up with that one. But I did want to say I do have spiritual mothers, people who can encourage me. And so I always advise people as we move forward in this year, if you don't have a spiritual mother or someone who can act as a mother if your mother's gone, and or a father, if you don't have a father in your life or your father passed on, have a father figure, someone who could be there to hear you out. Hopefully someone that they know you, your family. Every one of the people I have, spiritual mothers and fathers, are people who know my parents, who knew my parents. And I'm not that they are going to make decisions and say, well, if they were here, this is probably what they would say. But they know me enough to know, especially if I went left, way left, meaning, if I just did some crazy thing, off the wall, they would say, then they would probably say, I know if they were here. But I like that they're there, that I can confide in, talk to. And so all of that, as we're talking about our topic today, let's talk about that. Coming to that as I'm ending this conversation, and I'm throwing it in because it is what we're talking about. So if you don't have these people in your lives, let this be a year that you get them in your lives. So we're talking about getting off to a good start And it's amazing because that really wasn't what I was going to talk about. But, as I began, that seems to be something many people need today as we are moving in this new season, new year, 2026. If you don't have spiritual fathers and mothers, get them. And I don't want to just say, because some people may think, do I need a sister and a brother? I believe a spiritual father and mother, because they have the wisdom, they have the age of maturity, they've been through a lot or been, and whether they've been to a lot or not a lot, that's not it. The key is just have someone that you can go to with I want to, and again, I don't want to put an age there because there are several people over the age of 50 that very mature and have wisdom too. So anyway, I really began to say that, and really brought that up to say thank you to all of you as I'm moving forward in this season. Well, with this season, I am just so excited. I thought I had some, I know I have words, but I didn't. So I was going to give some quick words, other words besides words I'm talking about now, prophetic words, but I'll do that next week. I do want to just dive in here. And so I am. So hopefully you had a great year, New Year's Eve. Hopefully you had a great year. Hopefully a great starting of the new year. I'll say that way. Great ending of the year, starting of the new year. And I always love it when, I always love to say, on December 31st, see you next year. And it's like the next day in a few hours. But anyway, talking of what we're going to talk about today, helping educators. And we're all in some way an educator, but specifically those in school, those who are homeschooled, those who work in public charter school, or you're a retired educator, or you may just be a parent. You're still an educator. By the way, if you're a parent, you are your child's first teacher. You are your child's first teacher. Anyway, figure intention on showing up with excellence. And I just believe we're in that season of, I use that term season, time is a better word, maybe. Showing up with excellence, show up with your heart in it. I actually used that phrase last year, my heart is in it. And I remember mentioning that to a friend of mine, and they were like, wow, I like that. And what I mean by that is exactly what it is, what it says. My heart is in it, which doesn't always, so of course we have good and bad. We have, when we're down, when we're feeling not great. I mean, those are all part of life, but my heart is in it. So whatever I'm doing, which I always have been this way, still this way, my heart is in it. And I really do believe that. My question to you is, can you say that? My heart is in it, because I know as we start off this year, new projects are coming up. Some people start new careers, new businesses, new families coming together, or coming apart, or have come apart. And there's some people having to live alone. Some people lost their spouses, and so it's new. So everyone's experiencing something new, and going back to school, finishing school. Having a child growing to another age. And so in education, whether it's, the first half of the year to now what we call the second half of the year. And so everything's new, but I do mean, is your heart in it? And what does that mean? Are you a server? Do you help out? Do you serve your family, your friends, your neighbors, meeting new people, encouraging them? And so, is your heart in it? Sounds like another whole message by itself. But today, getting off to a good start, and that's where we want to go. So again, whether you are superintendent, administrator, teacher, educator, retired teacher, staff member, volunteers in the school, and parents, this is for you. And start off, hopefully your intention as you start off this new year is showing up with excellence instead of survival mode or griping and here we go again. Honestly, I thought the same, here we go again, but it's something to be intentional. So even though I was thinking, is it going to be a lot like what we experienced from September to December? but I had to push myself to say, you know what? If there's that phrase, fate is in your hands, or maybe I'm making that one up. But anyway, but it's in your hands. That I do know is a phrase. It's in your hands. What will you do? There is that one, the ball's in your court. What will you do when it's in your hands, or in your court, or when you have the will to do? So what would you do? There's peace of mind and clarity to all of that as we begin this new year and the momentum of seeing all of that. So again, my challenge to you today is not only getting off to a good start, but is your heart in it? Is your heart in it? So wherever you are starting fresh, new, wherever you are starting fresh and new, is your heart in it? Is your heart in it? And so on we go. So I do have some, really today, really just 3 points, 3 points. So we're talking about keeping the fire, rekindling the fire. Yeah, that. Igniting the fire for sure. And then move into your next. We are in the next. We're in the next. And so we're in this year now. Many of us have been saying, ready to get there, excited to get there. We're here. So anyway, again, let me just quickly say, now I thought I was going to do a slide on this, then I decided, I don't know. So maybe next week I'll do it, because I do know there's a part 2. I already know that. The meaning of off to a good start. And I just quickly looked up, the meaning of what off to a good start, which I'm not going to read all of it, but I will say, what I read was, if you get off to a good start, you're successful in the early stages in doing something. If you get off to a bad start, you're not successful at early stage of doing something. And it's interesting. I was like, what? So let me give you some other meanings here. When I saw that, I was like, and so really it is to begin an activity successfully. I like that better. I saw that. The first one I saw was like, I think I just wrote it because I think when I first saw it, I was like, yes. And then I read it and I was like, I don't know. And I said, let's go with it anyway. So actually, though, I like this better. Getting off to a good start means to begin an activity successfully. And if it falls, guess what? Get up again, do it again. So to get off to a good start just means start well. And well could be what you see it as. You know what well is. It's not griping, not complaining. That's not well. I'm sick. That's not well. So to begin an activity, to do something successfully and well, that's getting off to a good start. Hopefully you're getting off to a good start. I always like to say too, there is a phrase that says, if you began a good work, it will be carried to completion. Absolutely. Go look that one up. If you began a good work. Yeah. Yeah, go look that one up. All right, point number 1. I only had 3 points for you today, and guess what? Like fire, I'm out of here. So yes. Oh yeah. I was looking at point number 1, like what? That's amazing. After I write it, and I'm thinking, what did I write? Again, I hope you got off to a great start. I feel like I've been stumbling these last 15 or so minutes. But anyway, I started well a few days ago. Actually, a whole week. You know what? Oh, I have to show this. This was, sorry. We'll come back to point number 1. So a week ago, right before the new year, you have to see our lovely scenery. Look at that. All of you who have come to see us here in the northern area, up north, the Midwest, as they say here, you betcha. Absolutely. Look at that. By the way, friends would go, oh, what does that look like? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I grew up with snow my whole life. Cool though. Now it's funny I could say that, because I tell you, there was a few years I was like, oh, go. I wanted to go now too. But anyway, I had to show that. And I tell you why. Because as we start a good start, there you go. See, I don't really care for it, but it is what it is. And there it is. It does melt. See, That's good. It does melt. What do you want to melt away? Anyway, before we rush into this new year, we're here. We're here. So I don't want to say before we rush. I do want to say last year. So I just want to bring up last year real quick because my first point is about saying goodbye. I hope you said goodbye to last year. It's amazing. We say goodbye, then the very next day, 12 midnight, New Year, we're still thinking about, well, the last year in a good way, like moving forward. Sometimes people don't. And I would say I have. There have been many times that I tried to move forward, but I'm still thinking about what happened in the year before something negative happened. But I can say I've been so excited. Honestly, I have really been in this new year for, I almost want to say it was around August. Last August, well, no, it couldn't have been. So, I know when it was. So I was excited because some things happened last August that were big. And you'll see more of that later. But I don't know, I keep telling myself. Anyway, we're going to keep moving. So it was around, October, yes, because when they had the new Jewish year, they celebrated the new year. And so I remember, and more things began to happen. So more exciting things, I'll say that way. I mean, well, yeah, other things too. But anyway, so when we talk about saying goodbye to last year, some people are still saying goodbye. And some people are still, yep, you know it. They were still hungover, but hangover in a good way. So, when you just made me laugh. Just a visual of that. Hangover in a good way. Anyway, I have all friends and relatives, and I tell them, drank water. Let me start there. Drank some water. Anyway, when you that just made me laugh because I just had this visual of what I said. Anyway, forget those old things. Yeah, let's go there. That phrase, forget those old things and new things you will see. They spring forth. Even when you're in what's called the wilderness, some of you are still in the wilderness. But by the way, the wilderness that's the good part. I would still say I'm in that season, but in the wilderness, good things are happening. So even in that, those bad memories, old memories of everything, that mess, all of that, let all that go, just let it go. And it is easy to say, let it go. It's easy to say it, easy, hard to do. And that's just the reality. But you can do it. You can. So we're on this new path. And by the way, go look that one up. Forget the former things. Aha. Yes, new things are happening now. Go look that one up too. Anyway, yeah. I keep trying to put my notes on a different side, and then I guess it works. We're just going with it today. So last year, yes, it was challenging. I learned a lot. I grew from many of you who have taught me to grow up. I always say we never get to that place of I'm grown. I mean, there is that place of being an adult and then people saying I'm grown. That's different because people say I'm grown, just keep doing things. But when you're an adult, you have there's that. So people. So let me go back. People that say they're grown up, or I'm grown, a lot of them don't like a responsibility. But then when you say I'm an adult, you take care of those responsibilities, as hard as it may be. Take care of those responsibilities. So yeah, I had some challenging lessons, but still learning through some of them. And but I think listening and being obedient, doing what you can, pulls you through. However, because we're talking to educators, some of you dealt with those frustrating students who were cussing you out, who were telling you, you can't make me, you can't tell me, who were being disobedient, running up and down the hall in your room, all around, all of that. And then administrators, same thing. Staff who were looking at you in your face saying, smiling, but, stabbing you behind the back saying, I'm not listening to you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to follow what you asked me to do. All of that. To then, maybe a toss and turn of going to school board meetings and half the group is yay, the other half is nay. So all of those frustrations, besides family, children, friends, meetings, every place so all of that mixed in last year. So if you want to just call it all well, I don't want to say all, because all of it wasn't mess, but just for some people it might have been. But all of that, I'll just call it a mountain, just call it a mountain of last year. Leave it there. But however, coming into this new year is, again, easy to say. Forget those frustrations and move forward. I always tell people, write it down. Just write it down, close the book, and keep walking. It's easy to say too, because I do know we do linger with negative things that happen to us, and bad things that happen to us, or things that make us mad, frustrated, we get tired, and it comes back, or people bring it back up. I don't know why, but I just say when it comes, just hear it and keep moving. Hear it and keep moving. So anyway, with all those frustrations, some of you, I know, were thinking, I'm quitting. Some of you have quit. Some of you are thinking, when it gets to June, I'm out. Some of you are going to retire. By the way, oh yeah, some of you already know. I do know. Heard a few of you say, I'm retiring early. Some of you say, yeah, it's that time, that season to get out of the school system. And so whether you have thought to quit, or you are quitting, or you did quit, or you're like, I'm going to stay in for the long haul, keep stirring up mess until I do leave, or they make me leave. Yeah, all of that. You're going to keep going. All of that. I have been in education for so long. I see all of that. It's like those of us who've been in church as well. We've seen all of that. So I always tell people, nothing is new. Nothing. It looks new. It's not new. Anyway, same thing in school. It's not new. And so you just have to keep walking through all of that. As a matter of fact, this is a visual that I saw, even saying that, and it really was not in my notes. It was not in my mind until I really said that. It reminds me of this visual. It's going to sound bad, and it is bad, but you still walk around mess. So imagine whether you're at a farm, and when you're at a farm and you walk past the cow manure, or better yet, you don't have to be at a farm, dogs, and walk through a park where people don't pick up dog poop. I don't understand that. That is your responsibility. So yeah, that's what it's like walking around that mess. It smells and it looks bad. That visual. Now, that visual with people to the side. That visual. So we have people that look like that mess, act like that mess, and same mess. And you're walking around. You just walk around and keep going. Eventually, yes, for those people who have those dog pooper businesses. Oh, that was interesting. And I thought that's pretty cool. Go pick up that, because I'm getting on a limb there, so I won't go there. But my point was, because I do know quite a few people who do pick up after their dogs, but there are a few who don't. That part makes me, I don't like that. But it's like that. So even it was the word mess. So when you see, because that is mess, smelly mess, and people are like that. So again, as we move into this new season of, I don't want to get ahead of myself, trying to save something for a little bit later. But I will say, move forward, just move forward. So let me keep moving on, because I tell you, sometimes I write things and I just know I'm going to just say that and nothing else. Anyway, so leave the past behind. Let's move forward. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about moving forward, because I do want to say, I do remember the last podcast I talked about rebuilding, restructuring, and we are at that place, restructuring and in rebuilding, and that's where we're going. Many school districts and various states are dealing with restructuring and rebuilding, and there are some who aren't. Some are doing really great. They haven't had to do that, and but as education moves on, I do believe education as a whole needs to be restructured and renewed and rebuilt. So let's go with that. So anyway, today, and so what I wanted to say, I was actually talking about number one, which was saying goodbye to last year. And so really with that, coming into the new, saying goodbye to that, but coming into the new, which is as a leader. So if you are the principal, the superintendent, or, teacher of the class, you have that responsibility. You're the leader there. People follow leaders, whether they're good or bad leaders. By the way, people follow both bad and good leaders. And but the key is, what are you going to do? Are you going to make the change? Are you going to change those routines that have been outdated? change when people are frustrated, how to bring in the solutions, and then allow that moving forward to go. Some people get stuck. Some people get stuck right there. It reminds me of in leadership sometimes when we say, sometimes we'll say, thank you, but I'm ready for the next season. And I want to add and say, thank you, we're ready for the next level. And anyway, that's enough on number one. Let's move to number two, because I only have two more. Number two, number three. Number two is my favorite. Thankful, being thankful. By the way, being thankful sets the atmosphere. When you walk into the room, you can set the atmosphere. You can. It reminds me of, you walk in and all eyes are on you. What is it that you brought in? What came in that all eyes are on you? Yeah, let's do that. Let's try walking in like that. But being thankful I said, well, we should be thankful, but for some reason it came to me to say being thankful is a unique strategy, which means one, maybe say it more often, let others know how caring you are and thoughtful of them, their work, and how you are towards them. So it's like a give and well, I'm going to say give and take. Well, give them that, but also take what they have for you as well. So hopefully it's that way. That's what the give and take is. You're thankful what they do. They should be thankful what you do as well. Find that. So there's some very great leaders, very great administrators, very great teachers, very great superintendents, and there's always room to improve. Always room to improve. So whether you're in one of those positions again, when you enter into your office, what do people see when you walk in? What do the children see when they walk in your classroom? What do parents see when they walk into your building? What do school board members see when you show up at their meeting? What do the superintendents see when you administrators show up at their meeting? So it's always, being thankful, but and I really just said set the atmosphere, because it's about you physically and then you personally and mentally, what's on your face and your body stature, how you walk in. It really sets the tone. I mean, people, I know I watch. I watch when people, and I'm not, I do watch. I'm not just always at the, in a place where, I watch everybody come in. Because sometimes I'm sitting in a place where they're coming behind me, the door's behind me, and I don't always turn around. I did that when I was a little kid, but who's that coming in? Anyway. But what I mean by that watching is, if I'm in the vicinity and I see the door, or when people walk in, I see them. I see, because you're in my space, you're in my view. And so I do watch when you come in, how you come in. And of course I'm not gonna go to you, well, you came in this way. It doesn't matter. It's just, I do see that. We all see it. It's like, here's a good example. You're in the car. I mean, obviously you see people walking across the street. We can close your eyes. Close your eyes anyway. We see a lot. I mean, you could, and in public places. So as I said that, I felt like I was putting myself in home. I was like, wait a minute. No, we see people walking in the room all the time. You could be at the airport, bus station, wherever you are, grocery store. You see people walking in. The key is how they walk in. Do they speak positively? Do they have a stern look about them? Stern attitude and stern from body stature to just a positive outlook. How do they walk in? And I don't say you have to walk in like you're that ebony model or ebony, whether it's male, female model. And, just how do you walk? Because some people have a presence. Some people give a presence and they do well. And interestingly, I've learned, even I have a few of those friends, they don't do it because of it's me kind of attitude. It's just who they are. And it's ingrained in them. And maybe at one time they could have said to themselves, when I walk in the room, this is how I always want to show up like this. How do you want to show up? There you go. How do you want to show up? So talking about being thankful sets the atmosphere. Absolutely. If you're thankful, now, granted, you can get up in the morning, because we all have those mornings of, maybe this is not the greatest morning. We heard bad news. Someone called us. Someone sent an email we didn't like. But how do you still show up? Do you show up with all of that? Walking in, doesn't matter where you're going. So that's the key. Come in, thankful attitude, mindset, sets the atmosphere. Speaking of setting the atmosphere, speaking positively, celebrating not only your growth, but sharing all of who you are, not complaining, because complaints don't do anything. But, it's like, quote unquote, dig your own grave. I'll say it that way. And what I mean by that, you're doing all the complaining. You are setting yourself up for physical challenges. I'll leave it right there. So if you do complain, let this be a great year. New year, you change. But positive, saying positive lessons, talking to people. Now, I will say, because I don't want this to sound like, well, oh, that's good and everything. I don't do that. And you might not. But what I want to say is there is a way to still be stern, still give the look, that look, and to still tell people how to sit down. That you can still do that in a great positive way. You can do that. I'll just leave it right there. It can be done. And you don't have to do it like we sometimes see people do, like your cousins, my cousins, because my cousins do. My friends too. Curse, I don't. So, those people who say all those small words, because that's what I'm going to call them, small words, but those kind of words, like the children always say, they give the letters. It's like, do you cuss? No. And then you ask them, what's this? What's the F word? And they laugh. They know it. It's so funny. It's so funny. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. But I will say, probably just did that. That was for the visuals, the hearing. Anyway, yeah, you can be stern and you don't have to say all those words. You don't. You can be like, I had a, let me go, this is funny. I had a, I don't know if it's a professor. No, it was a high school. I had a high school teacher and he loved using big words. He just thought it was impressive to use. And when I say big words, I only laugh because he would use words and we're like, why are you using those words? Because it really didn't make sense. He would use words that, but funny thing is, I think later though we learned, he said, well, one time I think he said, I don't know if he really said this. He's gone. I think it's been gone for a while. But anyway, we used to go, why are you using like ambiguous and, I mean, I get it, but when we were in high school, we were like, okay. But anyway, I say that to just say you can be stern. I'll leave it right there. And still smile about it and keep walking. And so anyway, that's the main thing. I'm leaving it right there because I think I could be going down. But yes, let's move on. Be creative. Be creative. That just makes me laugh because I really want to say, I was about to say use creative words, and I was like, whoa. Anyway, that really makes me laugh. It does. Be thankful. I'm gonna wrap this one up. Be thankful and set the atmosphere. Anyway, do your best. Do your best work this year. Let me just come up with that one. Do your best. We're almost done. Look at that. So if you just joined us, oh yeah, first of all, if you just joined us, we're talking about getting off to a good start. Getting off to a good start. And hopefully you did get off to a good start. Or if you didn't, start today. Start today. Start over tomorrow. Get off to a good start and put your best foot forward because you can't do best. You can't do your best this year. Even if you're still dealing with some negative concerns, issues. I mean, maybe you still don't have the house you want or the apartment you want or the money you want, or family is still kind of going crazy and everything's kind of off the wall, or someone just passed away and or still memories of someone passed away, all of that. And you're still feeling like, what do you mean? My start is sort of negative right now. Well, it's the beginning, and you do what you do is best. I'll say it that way. But we are talking about getting off to a good start. So again, point number 3, let's move on. So again, if you just joined us today, we're talking about getting off to a good start. Like and share, tell someone about it. All right, point number 3. And then we're going to wrap this up. Talk. I tell you, somebody like, just wrap it up right now. I'm almost ready to just say, we'll do point number 3 next week. Because I think I just said way too much that it makes me laugh. But anyway, talk up, speak up. There we go. See, it's amazing how all of that just played its part. Talk up, speak up, be the next level. Be at the next level. Be the next level. There you go. Oh, be the next level. Oh, that kind of sound. Oh, wow. I think I like that. Be the next level. Whoa. There's a lot in that one right there. I might have to do something on that. Be the next level. Ooh, I just like how that sounds. Anyway, this year, it's a new year again. We know it's a new year. I tell you, it's laughter. Oh, we're gonna get to that one though. I think I do have one ready for that. Coming up soon. I don't know. I feel like that's today. Um, First I felt like I was struggling. Now I'm just like laughter. It's just I'm laughing. Um, hmm. Let me get back to talk up and speak up. So this year, if you haven't done that last year, this is that time. I would just say, yeah, it's that time. We're at that next level. Watch for that next level on you. Talk about it. So when I talk about this last point, talk up, speak up, it means improving on where you were, others where they were. Again, in our schools, improve. We're always improving. So what a lot of children didn't do last year, this is the time. What you didn't do last year, this is the time. Where your staff didn't come up, or maybe they were and weren't listening, this is the time. Come up with that. So it's about improving, again, building, rebuilding, restructuring. Talk about it. Talk about it. That's another good one too. Talk about it. So anyway, we're going there. The other part of this is make it happen. We often hear that, make it happen. What does that mean? It means something. And I say, even though we've heard make it happen, I say make the best happen. Make the best happen. I feel like I've been running now. Yeah. So with all of that's been going on, there's been, again, I want to always go back to, because this is real to many educators right now in several states. Some states just experienced, I believe it's Nebraska, just experienced the shutdown of the education department. And I think other states are, or not, oh my goodness, I say that. I meant to say they shut down just that piece of the education. So not, well, again, maybe been Department of Ed, but what I meant to say was this university. Let me go back. The university, and I'll have to give you the name. I have the name, and it escapes me right now. But they decided to cut the education program at the university. They had few students, and actually that's not, so it's not new. Many universities have been making those decisions for really the last 10 or so years. Not a lot of people are going into education, or a lot of people interested in it. And it's oh man, education has become, there's been a downfall in the life of education, getting education, training, helping people. But our competition, our competition today, our competition with that AI, and if with that coming in, it is in, but it's so much happening with what's going on with AI that it is the competition for elementary to college level. So we'll see more, hear more shutdowns, not only in, well, yeah, so Department of Ed, yes, as well as universities making that choice of whether they want to continue education programs where teachers are trained, and all of that. And then even down to schools. Schools having to make decisions of cutting out, depending on what district you're in or state you're in. So much is happening. But again, starting the year off, because here's the reality. Let me just be real. I mean, not that it wasn't real. I tell you, I've been just cracking myself up today. There are schools right now dealing with the loss of schools happening at the end. So when I say the end, till about June now, there are schools going through that process now, districts going through that process. And so, again, for someone thinking, but you're telling me get off to a good start. How, when I don't know what's going to happen. The reality of whether I have a job, whether I want to stay, what's going to happen when all that changes, and how is it going to change? So there's a lot of discouragement right now. That's the best way to say it. A lot of discouragement at the same time. Talk it up, speak it up. Like we say in December, at the end of the year, we'd say finish strong. And so again, getting off to a good start doesn't mean, even though you're discouraged about that, you don't feel great about it, you're not sure, and you're at this moment feeling, I don't even know what's going to happen, where I'm going to go. If you're in that place, just know there is hope. Easy to say. Talk to me, I'll tell you. Anyway, there's hope, but at the same time, still start with good, start off great. Push, push, push your best foot forward. Push, 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 push. That's all I'm going to say is push, make it happen. Do your best. Do your best. Believe it or not, there have been so many people who have been down, discouraged, and you would have never known it because they never showed it. So many people. Had I known I was going to say that, so I may come up with that. There are lots of people, though, that ended up with a disability, and they are great. As a matter of fact, I'll just say it this way. I have two friends now who weren't blind when they were born, but they became blind. One was a young boy that I was teaching junior high, and he at this time was 8th grade, but he became blind in 4th grade. And just hearing his story was phenomenal because he said, when it happened to me, I was mad, frustrated. But as things went on, because he had so much love and support from his family, and of course there's that helps. But I say that because now I was meeting him at the time that he's in 8th grade. And let me tell you, the time that I met him, was so excited about life. Then again, I'm sure I missed the process of what he went through in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. But he actually said, I want to believe, because it's been a while now, I really want to believe he said to me, 4th grade was that way, but by 5th grade, he was fine because his family supported him. And so now he's at this place of 8th grade, great attitude, great mindset. I'll just leave that great attitude, smiles, because maybe it's because he was able to see and now he can't see. But again, anything that happens to us for the first time, we all, so I certainly can imagine what that would feel like, look like. So yeah, when we get down, we get depressed, or just something falls apart. Yeah, for that moment, we fall. We may fall. Some of us fall, don't get up. But the support, and this is why it's great to have a support group. I mentioned earlier having spiritual mothers and fathers. And again, that support. Boy, somebody must be praying for me because my whole attitude just changed. Anyway, so that's a story about him. Then the second person, same situation. They had been, had their sight. So they are actually an older person. And I want to say in their 50s, 60s, 70s, I guess. Wait, let me see. No, they're actually late. Wow, they're actually late 50s. Now that I think about it, late 50s. But they lost their sight, I think in their 40s, I think, or 30s. I think it was the 30s. Anyway, their story was similar. They had sight and then they lost their sight, but they have a great attitude. And so I'm saying that to say that we sometimes hear the positive, or we hear do better, do this, and then we feel like, but you're happy and you're feeling great, and well, I'm not gonna be part of your pity party, your misery. I do want to say though, talk it up, speak it up. That's really what I'm talking about in this last point. As we are in this new year, make it happen. Find a way to make the best, put your best foot forward, whatever your best is. Yeah, I could wake up, like we sometimes say, wake up on the wrong side, then wake up on the right side next day. Funny. Anyway, do that. I do know, and I want to leave it here because it's around closing time. I'm even amazed because I thought this was going to be shorter than I thought. But anyway, I do want to say this. As we are moving forward in this year, we often, like I said, we often hear people consistently and constantly talking about the negative, but you, especially if they're in your presence, then you turn that initiative around. You become the positive for them. Be the positive. And by the way, I think when I was mentioning point number 2, gratitude and being thankful, one thing I forgot to mention, but I'll mention it here because it's still the same thing. Talk up, speak up. Your smile. Sometimes just your smile or your laughter really move someone. And sometimes when you walk into a room, just your demeanor moves someone. So again, it may not be what you say, it just may be the look on your face, your body stature, how you walk in, how you stand, how you sit. And it's not about what they think they're all of that. They probably are all of that and more. Anyway, yeah. So the main thing is, as I'm wrapping this one up, put your best foot forward. Be creative, encourage yourself, talk to yourself, get a journal. Talked about that all last year. Get a journal, write in it. But I do believe rebuild, restructure, and all of that means showing up. Even if you're showing up and you are still feeling sad, mad, whatever you may be, yeah, I still say just show up. I think I'm gonna close there. I'm gonna close right there. It's so amazing how it is amazing. I write these, get ready to come on. I'm like, my whole thought's different sometimes. Like, oh, today I was like, oh, it's gonna be short. I didn't think I was gonna say all this, but here we go. Here we go. So honestly, I enjoyed this. I really did. The laughter in the middle, I know it's for me. So I hope you enjoyed that. Because we need that this year. We really need that. Not that we didn't have it. We had it. But I guess ending up, let me just say it this way. Let me wrap it up this way. So by the way, let's do a recap. So those who just came in, let's do a quick recap. So again, today we're talking about getting off to a good start. What we mainly said was say goodbye to last year and say hello to this year. That was point number one. Point number two, thankful. Be thankful. So first of all, be thankful you made it to this year, because you know, a lot of people didn't make it. And be thankful, one, and thankful you're listening. If you're listening here today, be thankful. Thankful of those who check your friends out. Maybe in the change. Oh, I hope those everyone right there. That's another story. Get new friends. Anyway, number two is about being thankful. Be thankful for the old ones. Be thankful for the new ones coming on. Yeah, there you go. Set the atmosphere. I think I should separate those two. Be thankful, because I really was talking about be thankful. Sets the atmosphere, means how you come in. How you come in. That sounds like another good title too. How you come in sets the atmosphere. And then the last one, talk it up. Speak up. Be the next level. Do all of that. So as we are wrapping up, because I should say wrap up. We're wrapped up. And so anyway, I'm excited. Can you tell? Let me calm down. I'm so excited though. So excited to spend this time with you, the joy, the laughter, speaking to you. And again, like, share, send the video. I would say send the video. Just send the video. And check out our website. But anyway, it's been great talking today to you. I sound like a song. It's been great talking to you. So wrapping this up. That's my time. That is my time. As you can see, I'm excited about the new year. Again, I'm hoping, even with situations that come up, I'm still excited. Because I did have family member died in December, late December, actually right before Christmas. But I'm still encouraging them. It's a hard time. But again, it's what you choose. I'll say that. It's how you choose what you do. I'll leave it at that. You choose what you want to do. Be happy. Anyway, that's my time. I'm wrapping this all up, and I just, as I always say, as I'm wrapping it up, this is Josiah with fire. Enjoy your daytime wherever you are around the world, because I tell you, it's amazing. It's amazing how you can be around. I just have to say that. I have to say that. When you're around the world, other countries, for some people it's night, some people it's day. But anyway, wherever you are listening in, have a great, wonderful day.